Canelo, there's a lot of articles and social media news floating around saying that you could potentially be negotiating with Terence Crawford directly for a main fight. Any truth to that?
No, I'm working in other things. Now I'm enjoying my family. I'm not talking about boxing yet. So maybe in January we're gonna start doing that.
Where do things stand with Turkey? Turkey said he would like to open a line of communication with you. No middlemen, just you and him.
I never say no to business. So if it is a business for me, I'm open to talk, no matter what.
Anything else for Chula Vista?
No, thank you everybody from Chula Vista. Thank you for your support.
The likelihood of a fight with you and Terence Crawford, it would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We're not talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkana know each other, and then we wanna see what happens.
And when do you want to get out next? I know you're here in London tonight. When are you going to be in a camp?
Huh?
When are you going to be in a camp? I know you're
in camp, training camp in March.
Okay, so
at the beginning of the middle of the February or March. Yeah.
In a major development in boxing, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have confirmed their highly anticipated super middleweight bout for September 2025. The fight will take place at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, sparking immense excitement among fans as it unites two of the sport's most accomplished fighters.
What's up, fight fans? Some breaking news. This guy, Julius Julianis, who's an ESPN Knockouts reporter, is reporting that the fight isn't only about to be announced, but the contracts are signed between none other than Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford. In Julianis' report, he claims that this fight has been signed, sealed, delivered, and it's going down this September in Las Vegas. We know Canelo was in London for the Ring Magazine Awards with Turki Al-Sheikh, seemingly shaking hands as business partners. And just today, as a few hours ago, Bud Crawford landed in London and was seen with Turki Al-Sheikh this September. It's official. What are your thoughts? This headline is all the details the Ring Magazine put out about 2 hours ago. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford, the fight is off. Guys, are they just messing with us for real? Because this is 48 hours removed from them reporting the location. First ever stadium fight, Allegiant Stadium. Even though the fight was 7 months away in September, this in everybody's eyes was going on. And then all of a sudden, the Ring Magazine, Turki Al-Sheikh, releases this with no other details. Canelo Alvarez and Bud Crawford in September is off.
The agreement for this high-profile fight was finalized in January 2025, setting the stage for a historic showdown. Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion, has an impressive record of 62 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 39 knockouts. His opponent, Terence "Bud" Crawford, boasts an undefeated record of 41 wins with 31 knockouts and is the reigning undisputed welterweight champion. This bout marks Crawford's move up to the super middleweight division, where he aims to solidify his legacy by taking on Alvarez in a thrilling challenge.
All right, let's talk Canelo Crawford, Jake Paul again. Let's try and give a timeline of events. So on Tuesday, Ring Magazine confirmed that Canelo Crawford was on for September 13th, Raiders Stadium. That's what we got on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we started hearing whispers of Jake Paul. It sounded crazy at the time. I did a video on it. I said that's impossible. But then those whispers became louder and louder and louder. On Thursday, Ring Magazine reported that Canelo Crawford was off. Thursday evening, so just after me and G-Man had filmed, we got reports that Jake Paul versus Canelo, or Canelo versus Jake Paul, was very much a real thing and was close to being signed off, and that would have happened on Netflix. About 2 hours later, we got confirmation that Canelo versus Jake Paul is now not a thing and is off, and that Canelo has signed a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, and Turkey went on social media talking about he's the lion and don't mess with the lion and things like that, which I thought was quite funny. Canelo versus Crawford is now back on, and that will happen in September. Canelo versus Jake Paul is now off and won't happen for at least another couple of years. Yeah, I think that's where we are.
Jake Paul recently criticized Canelo Alvarez for signing a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, which led to the cancellation of their planned bout. Paul accused Alvarez of avoiding tough opponents, including Terence Crawford, due to public pressure. He claimed that Alvarez is now a slave to Riyadh Season, implying financial incentives influenced his decision to steer clear of more competitive fights.
Oh, Canelo, you puta.
And this fucking YouTuber, I just fight real fighters.
Time to expose him. So we had a signed contract to fight. Here you can see Canelo's signature and my signature to the right. Claiming he's not fighting YouTubers. Bullshit. Look at the poster. We were announcing Tuesday, February 11th. Claiming he fights real fighters, but he's fighting Crawford, a 135-pound fighter, and running from a real fighter like David Benavidez, you bitch. The truth is you can be bought. You're a money-hungry squirrel chasing your next nut. The truth is these sports-washing shady characters are paying you hundreds of millions of dollars to stop our fight from happening because they couldn't fathom the fact that they can't create a bigger fight than me and you. Al Heyman has made you hundreds of millions of dollars and you turned your back on him for this check. Disloyal. And you were begging to do this fight on pay-per-view. But I have loyalty. Loyalty to Netflix, doing the biggest numbers. And you call me a YouTuber, but you've never had a boxing match as big as mine. Remember you told my team that your daughter came home and asked if you were fighting Jake Paul? She was all excited. You said that was the first time your daughter's ever asked you about a fight. And you're screwing over all your Mexican fans by doing your fights in Saudi. It just shows what type of person you are. And I promise you one thing, Canelo. Any fight that you do this year, mine will be bigger. So go fuck off to your boss, you Ring Magazine employee, you pink and orange bitch. And oh, fix that herpes on your lip, you dirty puta.
At a recent press conference, Canelo Alvarez delivered a strong message to Terence Crawford, asserting his dominance in the super middleweight division. He said, "This is my territory. Crawford is a great fighter, but stepping into my division is a different challenge. I'm ready to show why I'm the champion here." Alvarez's confidence highlights his resolve to defend his titles against a tough opponent moving up in weight class.
How is Crawford going to be able to bridge this weight gap?
Yeah, I don't think he can, in all honesty. I mean, he might not be able to bridge it on Saturday.
Yeah.
So
one weight class.
68, yeah, but you're coming up from 35. 35, 40, 47, 54. Sooner or later, it's one too many. And 68 is definitely too many. But Crawford's brilliant. Like he's a genius. He's a generational great. So maybe he can find a way to do it. But I feel he'd be hugely outsized against Canelo Alvarez. Yeah. But you have to use your movement if you're Terence Crawford in that fight. The last thing you want to do is stand and trade. He'd be moving a lot in that fight, trust me. I'm not saying he'd be running, but he would be moving a lot. Of course, that's the way to beat him. Yeah. You know.
Canelo Alvarez, known for his power and tactical versatility, is regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. Terence Crawford, a 4-division world champion, brings speed, precision, and adaptability to the ring. This clash of styles and skills has fans eagerly anticipating one of the year's biggest boxing events, promising an exciting and highly competitive showdown.
When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost.
They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won.
I don't think that was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Cobra. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was just an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume, right? But there's a difference, to be real. I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Fame. Okay, this guy, all-time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up, okay? And Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Crawford. Let's just keep it a bit.
Canelo Alvarez is a dominant force in the super middleweight division with an impressive record of 62 wins and 2 losses. His power, agility, and experience at higher weight classes make him a formidable opponent. Sean Porter has raised concerns about how Terence Crawford will handle Canelo's punching power, given Canelo's reputation for delivering devastating blows. Porter questions Crawford's ability to withstand such force, especially with the move up in weight classes. This concern reflects broader doubts about Crawford's ability to endure the physical demands of facing a naturally larger and more powerful opponent.
The others say, like, no, that's 2 more weight classes. Like, once he gets touched by Canelo, it's going to be different.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know. So I think, if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo have, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out, you know what I mean? So,
former 4-division world champion Mikey Garcia has shared his thoughts on the upcoming super middleweight clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Garcia believes that Alvarez's size and power will be key factors in the fight, while acknowledging Crawford's exceptional skills. Garcia pointed out that the significant size difference could pose a challenge for Crawford. He emphasized that Alvarez has been competing at 168 Ulms, while Crawford recently moved up from 154 Ulms, where he faced some difficulties, making the weight difference a crucial aspect of their matchup.
I'm not even a fan of that fight. They're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, you know, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he has some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 164, 65, 66? Canelo ain't gonna come down to 160.
Yeah,
Canelo ain't gonna come down, you know, maybe 166 max if he accepts. I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size, you know, power and size. Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter, but the difference in size will be the deciding factor, and that's why I'm not even a fan of that fight. I think Crawford has accomplished everything he had to accomplish from 140, 147, now 154. That's even greater for him. He wants to do something, collect belts at 154, he can attempt that. But there's no money in that compared to the Canelo fight. And Canelo is trying to fight other guys, and you know, at that point it's more of a big fight, you know, for the money that's gonna generate. But as a fight fan, I'm not really a fan of that matchmaking. I'd rather see Canelo move up and fight somebody like Bitterbeef or Revolt again. If he wanted to challenge himself, move up to 175 again, and challenge himself against those guys. Not a smaller guy moving up.
Joel Diaz expressed confidence in Canelo's ability to challenge Crawford, recognizing Crawford as the pound-for-pound best, while highlighting Canelo's unique skill set and readiness for the upcoming fight.
A lot of people that say that Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch. And I can see the same thing. I mean, you saw Canelo Alvarez fighting Amir Khan. Now, look at this. Terence Crawford moved from 47 to 54 to fight Madrimov. What did he do to Madrimov? Nothing. Okay, Madrimov was a 54-pounder. Now, to move up to 168, that's 2 more divisions. Canelo Alvarez will take any punch from Crawford, but I don't think Crawford will take any punches from Canelo. Remember, Canelo got hit by Triple G, the heaviest hitter in that division. And Canelo took those shots like a champ. I don't think Crawford has anything to beat Canelo.
When you say, I want Canelo, is there anybody in the camp that would say, you're not ready for this?
That's a big boy. He's strong. That's a conversation. It's not just, oh man, you will whoop his ass.
Like yes, man type stuff.
I'm not worried about Canelo. I'm not thinking about Canelo. I'm just focused on Israel Madrimov.
In a small way, is this a stepping stone to your dream fight?
I don't look at fights as stepping stone. It's about now.
Former world champion Demetrius Andrade believes that while Terence Crawford is an exceptional fighter, Canelo Alvarez's size and experience in higher weight classes give him the advantage. Andrade predicts that Crawford could struggle with Canelo's power and agility. As Crawford prepares to move up 2 weight classes to face Canelo, the challenge becomes more daunting. In his last fight, Crawford competed at 154 olds, securing a hard-fought decision victory over Israel Madrimov, showcasing his skill and adaptability. However, moving to the super middleweight division at 168 olds presents a completely different challenge. Crawford will face opponents who are not only heavier, but also naturally stronger and more accustomed to competing at that size.
Be great. That'll be 3 times. If you go 154 and win the belt, that's 3 times super. Then I said, chase super greatness. Come on, Canelo. 160.
Well, if he can get in there with Charlo in like his next 2 fights where he's still got age on his side, then maybe go up again. Like if he's trying to chase the greatness. But I mean, he already done something that's never been done. Charlo don't want none of that smoke.
Terence Crawford, I see he wants to fight. He's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better. No? Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and you never know what happened.
Yeah. Unlike his previous bouts, where his speed, precision, and technical prowess gave him the edge, facing a physically dominant fighter like Canelo Alvarez could neutralize some of those advantages. Canelo's power, durability, and experience in the super middleweight division add to the challenge, forcing Crawford to adjust both the strategy and conditioning. The jump in weight class will be a defining factor in how Crawford performs against one of boxing's most formidable champions. While Crawford's technique and skill are exceptional, questions remain about how his power and durability will translate to the super middleweight division. Adjusting to the increased power and physicality of opponents at 168 olds will be a significant test for Crawford.
Just a few weeks ago, you heard what Terence Bud Crawford had to say on why he wants to take on Saul Canelo Alvarez.
I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter, and I would just like to, fight another great.
Which is a very noble reason. I mean, it's a reason that I can get behind. If you notice, his primary reason isn't money. He did say it'd be the biggest fight, which, you do want a big fight, but I don't think he meant monetarily, which the money comes, okay? But what he's saying is he want to test himself versus the best. And I think he's telling the truth here, right? Of course you want big money and stuff like that, but I think his swan song is just him testing himself up against the very best. Those are the reasons the war room can get behind.
Robert Garcia has also shared his thoughts on the upcoming fight, leaning toward Canelo Alvarez victory. Although he hasn't provided an in-depth breakdown, his prediction aligns with the majority, favoring Canelo. Garcia believes that if Terence Crawford decides to fight Alvarez, it will likely be driven by the significant payday the bout offers. According to Garcia, Crawford has already accomplished enough in his career, securing his legacy and financial future, and doesn't necessarily need to keep fighting. However, if the fight does take place, Garcia predicts that Crawford will be competitive in the early rounds, likely holding his own for the first 6 to 8 rounds. He acknowledges Crawford's exceptional skill, ring IQ, and strength, which would give him an edge early on.
Robert, what's a smart bet on Crawford-Canelo? Canelo by knockout or Canelo by decision?
Crawford by decision. If you have to bet,
yes.
I say Canelo by decision. Crawford by decision. No, but you say Canelo by knockout or Canelo?
Yeah, no, because I'm saying that's what's going to happen. Canelo's going to beat him. But which one?
I don't know, man. Crawford is fucking bang. I've always been saying, I think Canelo at the end, obviously, his strength, his weight,
experience,
probably takes over. But I wouldn't be surprised if Crawford just fucking boxes and fights smart and beats him.
He's probably going to be 40-1 underdog or something crazy like that, right? It's not going to be close.
No, it's going to be close.
3 weight classes?
3-4-1. ¿No crees?
No.
It's not going to be that big of a difference. No.
When you pick the knockout? No, when you pick the knockout?
You pick a knockout. But if it's just...
who wins straight out?
I think it's going to be maybe 3-1, 4-1. Maybe that's too much. Maybe 2-1. Maybe 2-1.
I don't think so.
I'm telling you.
So they finally announced Ryu's fight, Gary Russell. What do you think? Not an easy fight? No easy fights in this level? It's going to be, finally you guys will be, the first time you're ever going to a Tank fight, right? To work a corner?
We're going to corner at Tank's fight.
Is Tank's the main event?
Yeah.
The Alvarez versus Crawford fight is set to be a landmark event in boxing. Alvarez's experience and power in the super middleweight division will be challenged by Crawford's agility, technical skill, and undefeated record. Fans and analysts are excited to see how Crawford adapts to the higher weight class and how Alvarez handles such a formidable opponent.
He's going to be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? Floyd, it was Floyd, and then it's going to be Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what's on the line with that fight, right? Canelo and Terence is whose era is it? Yeah. Right?
Nah.
I think Canelo had his time.
Yeah, Canelo had his time. Yeah.
Just go submit our time.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
What makes Bomac such a great trainer?
He can adapt to any style, bro. Like, he can adapt to any style. First of all, like DB3, we all got different styles. And he all been making this better in our own style. He got Troy Eisen. Troy Eisen is a different style. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, he got Avius Griffin. Avius Griffin is a different style. Of course, y'all know Jamel Herring and Terence Crawford. All different styles. And he make these fighters great. He can adapt to any style. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes him a great.
Do you agree that Canelo's size and power will overwhelm Crawford in the later rounds? Or do you think Crawford's skill and strategy can carry him to victory? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.